Okay, let's start. Good day, everyone. This is Mickey from SMS Global, and we will be having this training for the production engineers with regards to our RedPort product. This training is about 90 minutes, and our agenda for today will be the vessel or router pre-activation portal, router activation, configuration of WAN and LAN, how to disable the Wi-Fi when applicable in the RedPort router, and upload RedPort business LAN configuration file on the Crewcom Preview router also when applicable. This only applies. This doesn't apply on a Crewcom. All right, and we'll also have some test procedures and Q&A. During this training, if you have any questions, just feel free to interrupt so we can address or answer your questions right away. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's start. So we're just going to go through this presentation. Okay, so SMS Global's Crewcom service on RedPort's optimizer routers. Crewcom Center provides full control of the vessel network. All features are remotely managed from an onshore web portal, centralizing the IT management fleet-wide. The crews can use any smartphone. Sorry, can you see the screen okay? Or is it a bit slow?
We can see the screen. That's okay.
Okay, hang on. Oh.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Okay, so
yes, we can hear you, Dom.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So the crews can use any smartphone, tablet, or laptop that's connected to the Wi-Fi network and access a range of added value features within the limits set by the ship owner. So this means that they won't be able to access all of the IM apps or all of the applications in their phones, only the ones that is set by the ship owner. Okay? RedPort Optimizer routers features a range of optional value-added services such as vessel email and network administration tools for the vessel's operations. Business application and vessel mail system can be routed to have direct SATCOM internet connection, such as your Amos Connect or IP signature or GT mail. You can also add in the captive portal bypass any domain that you wish to have the crew to have direct access to. Like, for example, inmersat.com, if you want to have the crew direct access to that website, then you can include that in the captive portal bypass. Okay? All right. Remote network administration, system configuration, and usage statistics from an onshore portal. So you can review reports either on a daily basis, weekly basis, or a monthly basis. The reports can be generated on the partner level or the fleet level, as well as on the subscriber level. It's a cost-effective solution with feature-rich services. Together, the RedPort and SMS Global provides a complete solution. It's a Wi-Fi access point, it's a firewall, a captive portal, and a proxy server, crew, and operations all in one unit. Okay?
Yep.
Right. Next, we have the three routers that we currently have. Most of you are familiar already with the Optimizer Crewcom, in which we have been installing on OOCL vessels. The one in the middle is the Optimizer Crewcom Premier with LTE. So basically, it has the same features as the Optimizer Crewcom, wherein you have the router, the firewall, hotspot, PBX, and the main difference between the Crewcom and the Premier is that the Crewcom has manual switching between Wi-Fi, crew, and cell, whereas the Crewcom Premier has this automatic switching between the networks. The third one is our Optimizer Crewcom Enterprise with NSD. It's the same as the Crewcom Premier. However, this is more powerful. It can actually handle 100+ users simultaneously. And same thing with the Crewcom Premier. It has web, voice, email, tracking, NMEA, crew, and automatic switching between Wi-Fi, cell, and satellite. Do you have any questions on the hardware before we proceed?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so this is the RedPort packaging. Okay, now we move on to our agenda. First in the list is how to pre-activate the router via our activation portal. And then we move on to router activation or registration. Next, we'll have the configuration of WAN and LAN, followed by how to disable the Wi-Fi if applicable, how to upload the business LAN also if applicable. We're gonna have some test procedures and Q&A. So let's start with the vessel router pre-activation portal. Okay, so this is the URL for the pre-activation portal. Basically, when we pre-activate the vessel, we will be able to configure the WAN and the data and time limits, as well as the vessel settings. When we log in, we will then have the option to select a fleet. Now, in the event that it's a new fleet, you can always create a new fleet. Okay, now my access to the management portal is what we call super admin. So basically I have visibility over all of the fleets. Okay, so I can choose the particular fleet that the vessel belongs to. In this one, we're just going to create a new fleet. We will name it production team fleet. We'll select a partner. In your case, once you log into the pre-activation form using your credentials, you will not be prompted to select a partner anymore because your default partner will be Inmarsat. Okay, now we create fleet. Okay, one moment.
Hi, Mickey. This is Joseph. Hello, Mickey. Yeah, yeah. So basically,
Yes, hi, Joseph.
probably while waiting, I think for everyone to understand is that so basically, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So FYI for the rest of the guys on the call. So basically, this is similar to Infinity, wherein every customer will have their own like a group or fleet of vessels. So I think for our productions account, they may need to see everything, and they just need to choose the correct fleet when they need to pre-activate a particular unit.
Yes, Joseph, that is correct.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you create this will give you all of the fleets that belongs to or that is under Inmarsat. So they
Yeah.
will be able
Okay.
to choose if the fleet is already existing, then they would be able to choose from the drop-down list. In the event that it's a new customer with a new fleet, then you can create a new fleet.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
All right, welcome. Okay, so next we now have the fleet. We now have to put in the name of the vessel. For this one, we'll just put it demo. So what's going to happen here is that you will in the management portal after we have created the fleet and the vessel, what you will see as the vessel name would be production team fleet demo. We can also include. Okay, so that's going to be what the name of the vessel will be. For the captain's email, we need to put here the vessel's ship to shore email, the business email. It's usually Amos Connect. And most often than not, that is a unique email address for that vessel. But of course, for this demo, we don't know what it is, so we'll just put in a temporary email. Okay, but again, this captain's email field needs to have the vessel's ship to shore email address. Okay. Next is if some of your departments that would like to have a copy of this pre-activation confirmation, then you can put in their email addresses here. Okay, so you can put in the email address of your orders department or purchasing department or whatever email address that needs to have a copy of the pre-activation information. Next is we select the vessel status. We choose test or demo if this router is intended to be used in the office for demo purposes or testing purposes. However, if the router is intended to be installed on board, then we choose production. Okay, in this sample, we'll just choose just demo and we won't set an expiration. Next is the subscription details. We currently have three. We have RedPort Plus CrewCom Center, we have CrewCom Center only, and we have RedPort only. If we choose CrewCom Center, this will then show you all of the CrewCom Center features. If you choose RedPort only, then that is going to show you only the RedPort features. Of course, RedPort and CrewCom Center gives you a combination of both. For this example, we'll choose CrewCom Center. We currently have 4 packages. We have the solo package, basic package, standard, and enterprise. The solo package, if we choose them, or if we choose that, focuses primarily on the firewall feature of the RedPort, in which you will have the onshore portal administration. You will have firewall and access control, crew system bypass for business applications, as well as domain filtering. Notice that everything else is not available on the solo package. Next would be the basic and standard. The main difference between the basic and standard package is the number of users. The basic package only gives you a maximum of 5. The standard package gives you unlimited users. Both of these packages will give you all of the checked options. Now, if you're familiar, basic and the standard package will give you the version 9 user interface. I will show you that in a bit. Give me one moment. So I was saying, if you choose either basic or standard package, after you're done with the pre-activation information, all of the information has been filled out and duly submitted, this will then generate a unique vessel ID. If you choose either basic or standard package, this will then give you the version 9 user interface, in which it doesn't have email or SMS and there's no news. Basically, this is like a stripped down version of the CrewCom Wi-Fi or Optimizer CrewCom user interface. Now later on, we will move on to the enterprise package. The main difference between them, when you choose the enterprise package, this will give you the version 8 user interface, in which you will have everything. Like you will also have email and SMS, you will have the news, and you will have the See Me Now app. So basically, that's the main difference between the basic and solo package versus the enterprise package. Okay. Any questions on that before we proceed?
No.
Okay. All right, so for this example, we will choose standard. Okay, a latest addition on the pre-activation portal is the number of crew login accounts, in which upon submitting the information, you will then be given options to generate how much users you actually need. Some vessels would have a complement of 30 seafarers, some would have 20. So that really depends on how many you need. Okay, so for this example, since we chose the standard version or standard package, we have virtually unlimited users. But since it's just going to be a demo, let's just choose 6. Next would be system communication settings. This is where you set the time limit or time allowances, as well as the data allowances. What you see here right now is the time limit is set to daily and it's set to 0. Please note that 0 is a limited if you don't put in a number in the internet time limit, then 0 means unlimited. If you put a number here, such as 60, then that would mean it's 60 minutes or 1 hour. 120 minutes would then be 2 hours, and so on and so forth. Again, what's important is that if you set this to 0, then that would be unlimited time. Okay? Okay. Next would be the internet data limit. Similar with the time limit, if you put it to 0, then that would be unlimited. However, only if enable data voucher top-up is unchecked. If you check this radio button here, then 0 would mean absolutely 0. That means that the crew can log in to the system. However, they would need to reload their respective accounts with data vouchers in order for them to activate the internet. Okay? So that's the difference between them. For this demo, we'll set it to unlimited. Next would be the firewall. For the firewall settings, we can either choose allow all but block certain apps, or vice versa. We can block all and allow certain apps only. If we want to allow WhatsApp only, we can do that, or WeChat only, we can do that. And furthermore, if we choose only particular IM apps and we want to filter it further, then we can uncheck audio, and would mean the router's fire set up and only messaging with IM. It won't be any browsing. So far?
Yeah.
Okay. Next would be the crew system bypass for business applications. This is where you put Amos Connect or IP signature or your website inmarsat.com, in which the crew will have direct access to that. Also, most of the time, we put here the IP of the terminal itself so that you can access the terminal's UI or user interface. We put here the terminal IP of Sailor or JRC or whatever terminal it is being used on board. Next will be domain filtering. In the example right here, we did not include web browsing. So as a result of that, domain filtering is set to block all. However, in the event that we have web browsing enabled, then we will see here allow all for the domain filtering. And to further filter it, we have options to block off always updates and applications background data traffic, because the last thing we want to happen is that when the crew is on board and using the system, their devices will start automatically downloading updates and background traffic, and we don't want that to happen. Because if there is a certain limit on the data package of the vessel itself, it will exceed that limit pretty quick. Okay, so going back, since our sample here does not have web browsing, we'll keep the domain filtering to block all. Next would be the SATCOM terminal. If you click on the drop-down list, this will give you some of the SATCOM terminals that are being used, and if you choose one of them, it will then give you the suggested static IPs for the one. Again, this is just suggested IPs. In the event that you need to change the IP, you can do so. Okay. That would be port forwarding. The best example that I can give you with regards to port forwarding is TeamViewer. If you want to have TeamViewer access to a specific PC on board the vessel, you just need to put in the name TeamViewer, and you put in the protocol it uses, the source port, destination port, as well as the destination IPs. When all of these information are correct, you will then have TeamViewer access to a specific PC on board the vessel. Okay. Now, once we click the submit activation, this will then generate a unique vessel ID as well as 6 user IDs for the crew. All right. So we now have a unique vessel ID for your router, and a copy of this confirmation page has been sent to the email address that we entered in the captain's email field, as well as the additional email address to receive the notification. Okay. Any questions so far?
Hi, Vicky. Do you have any sample of activation port, pre-activation port?
You mean, well, actually, the pre-activation form is available online.
Who provide the pre-activation port?
Well, that depends. For example, on the recent OOCL vessels, we actually have provided you the vessel ID. We have gone through the pre-activation ourselves, and then Herbert is actually handling the router activation on his end. So what we do is we have a TeamViewer connection to the router, and we insert the unique vessel ID that we have generated for you guys, and then we have activated the router for you. So that depends upon the situation. If the situation requires that we do the pre-activation, definitely we can do that for you. Or in rare cases, if the pre-activation needs to be done when the router is already on board, then we can do that as well. So it really depends upon the situation.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Mickey.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, this is Dave.
Yes. Hi, Dave.
Regarding his username and password, is there any way to edit the users and password?
Are you referring to the crew username and password?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, right now, we cannot change it for now, but we do have that option available down in the pipeline, and our engineers are actually working on that already. So there it will be, but not right now.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's all for now.
Okay.
So Mickey, the activation is only done by your side. Is it?
No, it can only be done from your end.
So if in case we're going
The
to
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. Could you run that by me again?
yeah, if in case we were going to do that here in Singapore, do you have any account and information that you will be provided from us?
Yes, we will provide you the not only the web support or the management portal credentials. We will also those same credentials can also be used to access the pre-activation form.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
So far, okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. Moving forward, we now move to router activation. Now, for this one, this now talks about how to activate the router, or what we also refer to as the vessel. Okay, so for this one, we will use the activation information or activation procedure for the Optimizer CrewCom Premier, simply because the Optimizer CrewCom is very similar in terms of activating. You need to make port. Okay, through the router, you then access the dashboard. Simply connect to the CrewCom Wi-Fi SSID if you're using Wi-Fi, or you connect to the LAN port if you're using CAT cable. On the CrewCom, it's the LAN port. On the Premier, it's the crew port. Okay, either connection would work. Once you're connected to the router, you can open a browser and you put in dashboard.com. This will redirect to the dashboard page of the router. First thing you want to do is to click on the check internet button and get a green light. That means that there's internet connection going to the router. If this button right here turns red, then you have to check on any cable connection issues, maybe loose cable, is there a firewall blocking it, or is there any other probable impediments to the internet connection. So the goal is to get a green light on the check internet button. Okay? After you get a green light on the check internet button, you now need to log into the router using the password CrewCom Wi-Fi, all lowercase letters. You click on vessel settings, then go to vessel and activation. You will arrive at this page. Please note that initially this page is blank. Vessel ID is blank, vessel email address is blank, everything is blank. What you then need to do is you need to put in the unique vessel ID that we have previously generated, this one right here. Okay. And you put in this box right here. And when you click on verify, the remaining boxes will then be automatically populated with the vessel email address, the captain's email address, as well as the vessel name. After that, you click on submit. All right, then you need to wait about 5 minutes. You then have to synchronize settings. You go to Crew System Management, Firewall, and click Synchronize Settings. The router will then fetch the system settings as pre-configured on the vessel pre-activation form, and it will reboot automatically. After that, you're done with activating the router. Okay, any questions on activating the router?
No.
Okay, now since we are in the router already, we might as well talk about what if there is a business LAN configuration that needs to be done. Okay, for the Optimizer CrewCom Premier, if there is a business LAN configuration, that needs to be done first before you activate the router. On this manual right here that we also sent you, you will notice that the first part of this manual is how to upload the business configuration, business LAN firewall. This procedure is slightly different. Again, please take note, if there is a business LAN involved in the router, that needs to be done first before activating it. Okay, the first thing that needs to be done is to download to your laptop the business LAN configuration from the URL below. Now, this URL will direct you to the business LAN itself. Now, for now, there's only one here, but as time goes by and there are more requests for different LAN configurations, you will see a lot more in this list. Okay. So you download that to your laptop, and then you need to access the RedPort UI. You turn on the Optimizer CrewCom Premier router, and you connect to the SSID, CrewCom Wi-Fi XXXX. The 4X refers to the last 4 digits of the router's MAC address. Okay, so this is the business LAN that you need to download. Again, I was saying earlier, there will be a whole lot more in this list once it's updated. Okay, after that, you now need to access the RedPort UI. Open a browser or tab and type this URL or this IP. You will be redirected to this page. This is now the RedPort UI. Username is admin, password web access. You then navigate to system, backup or flash firmware, and you go to, you click on upload archive. Okay. After uploading the archive, you click on confirm, and then the router automatically reboot. Only then can you proceed to activating your CrewCom Premier. Again, this procedure refers to CrewCom Premier. If it's a CrewCom only, you can directly go to the router activation. Any questions?
No, good.
Oh, okay. 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 Next on our agenda is how to disable Wi-Fi when applicable, such as with the OOC of vessels. The specific request or requirement is to disable the Wi-Fi from the RedPort, and they will just simply use access points. In order to do that, you would also need to access the RedPort UI, just like previously explained. You then go to network, Wi-Fi, and click disable. Okay. Now, if you are doing this while connected to the Qualcomm Wi-Fi SSID, then you will see this message waiting for change to be applied, but it will not update anymore because by then the SSID would have been enabled. However, if you were doing this using a CAT cable connected to the crew port or LAN port or router, then you will see this page update. So basically, this is how you disable the Wi-Fi or the router. Okay? Okay. All right. The next topic would then be test procedures. Basically, when testing the system, it's really quite straightforward. When you have configured the system on board and it's set up properly, the first test that you may want to do is run a speed test. So you connect to the Qualcomm Wi-Fi router, and then you log in with the user ID and password that will be given to you. You activate the internet, and depending on the firewall settings, if you have web browsing enabled, then you can run a speed test. We usually use fast.com because it's easier and faster to load. But in the event that there is no web browsing available on the firewall, then you can test the system by logging in, activate the internet, and use the particular IM app that has been pre-configured depending on the pre-activation portal. Okay? All right. Next would be, I guess we're now on the Q&A part. Do you have any questions or any comments that you want to say? Joseph?
No. Just I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, how about the rest of the guys? Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes?
Is there any way that we can just, for example, you provision the red port in your site, then we just do the activation, then tag on the hub?
Yes, actually, we have been doing that, particularly with the OPCL vessels. Together with Herbert, what we have done is that we did the pre-activation on our end, in which we have the unique vessel ID, and then Herbert, on his end, provides us team viewer access to the router, and we register the router and we test it as well, so that it'll be ready to be dispatched on board. So yes, the answer to your question is yes. We can do the pre-configuration, pre-activation, and you can just simply do the activation on your end.
Yeah. By the way, I'm Herbert. By the way, we are waiting for that one.
Hi, Herbert. So it's actually was you. So what we've been doing in the past couple of days, past couple of weeks. So we actually, you give us your access, and we pretty much activate the router for you.
Yeah, because when I saw the one you are doing for this report activation and testing, a bit complicated from us because we don't know where to get those IPs and those informations that been provided in the pre-activation.
I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from. With regards to the static IPs, those information were given to us either by Tracy or Phil or Will. So we actually get it from you guys as well. So we actually have a list of those IPs And with those lists, then we were able to pre-configure, pre-activate the bus or the router, including those static IPs. So I can see where might be a confusion or complication is coming from if you don't have all the information that you need, particularly with static IPs. And I assure you, once we have the complete list of all the information, including the static IPs, then it'll be an easy task.
Okay. That sounds
Okay.
good.
All right. Anything else? Okay, so well, I guess that wraps up our training for today. If you have any questions, if you happen to remember a question, if you need to ask questions, please feel free to send us an email, crewcomwifi@smsglobal.net, or you can send me a WhatsApp message. Herbert, you can send me a WhatsApp message. You can send me a message. Joseph, you can send me a message, and I'd be more than happy.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mickey. Will you be sending this slides to us also?
To be honest, I'm not sure, but it's okay. Yeah, I'll just have to check with the team, and we'll get back to you on that. I think we can. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You are most welcome. Again, this is Michael from SMS Global. Thank you so much for having us, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thanks. Bye. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.